Right, Carol, very glad to have you. I'll call this meeting to order, please. Could we start by doing the pledge of allegiance? Brenda, get in place there. Brenda, why don't you start for us this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. Glad everybody was able to make it out here on this chilly evening. First item of business tonight will be the approval of the minutes of the December the 5th, 2013 special meeting and the December 17th, 2013 regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. McAllister made the motion.
Second.
Mr. Wilkerson second. Is that all yes vote?
Yes.
Carol, yes?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I don't think we had anybody sign in, did we, Jeff? Did we?
We do.
Okay.
Mr. Jonah Ash.
I was wrong again. What do you know? Okay. All right, Johnny, you know, of course, everyone's welcome to sign in. You may speak. The only thing is that, you know, we're not allowed to have any dialogue because you aren't on the agenda, but we're certainly glad to have you and listen to you.
All right.
So the floor is yours.
That's not what they say at church, that we're glad to listen to them, so that's a welcome change.
Well, I'm no comment.
A lot of people were talking about Brenda's voice. They said they love to hear the sweet sound of Brenda's voice on the
Well,
telephone at
It's
night.
her message.
Waking them up.
Yeah. They said it sounds a lot better at 8 p.m. than it does at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. I come to you this evening just, Ms. Lucas and I talked, of course, about my assistant principal position at Guy Valley. You'll notice on the personnel schedule that she's requesting that it be abolished. And I first want to say that, you know, I completely understand her position and the position that we're all in with this wonderful budget hit that's coming to us. And, you know, a lot of tough decisions, and I don't envy any decisions that any of you have to make because I know that no matter what you decide, there's going to be people that are unhappy. We learned that in our line of work, that you're not going to make everybody happy. And it's not that I'm necessarily disappointed or angry. That's not the case at all. I just want to present to you that, you know, Guy Valley is a school that we've put a lot of federal money into over the past 3 years. It's a school that was on improvement. Since come off of improvement, we're in the transition status right now based on the new system that the state is using. I had a conversation with Wanda Brott, you know, because there's been some mixed messages about what transition status means. So he and I actually had about an hour-long phone conversation, and you know, he looking at my data and where we've been, where the school's been, where we are now, and you know, he said we're definitely moving in the right direction. And so, you know, my concern is for my school tonight, and you know, I'm very passionate about my school and about my kids, and that's what it comes down to is, you know, I'm sure that no matter what decisions are made in regards to the budget cut, you know, somebody's going to have to suffer. And unfortunately, you know, at Guy Valley, it's going to ultimately be our kids because, you know, a lot of the responsibility, all the responsibility, of course, then will fall to my shoulders. You know, Mr. Priestley, that in the principal's position, that, you know, when you're doing everything, you do nothing well. And so you just kind of, you're treading water every day and hoping not to drown in all the responsibilities. So again, you know, I don't know if there's any other places that we can look, if there's any other positions, you know, that, and I'm sure, and I know we can't discuss that, but, and again, I know that there will be other positions that have to go. The only thing I ask is that you know, really consider carefully about Guy Valley and about where that could take us. Again, you know, we've done a lot of work there the past 3 to 4 years. A lot of things have changed for the good, and you know, it just concerns me and worries me with what's going to happen in the future. Again, you know, Ms. Lucas and Mr. Rickett, both and I, we've had conversations and talked about this situation, and hoping that if we can make it through 1 year, hopefully things will look up. Surely they can't look any worse, you know, based on the current numbers. But again, you know, that 1 year can make a big difference for us, and that's all that I wanted to say this evening. So thank you for letting me talk. Thank you for your time.
We understand what you're saying, John. Appreciate what you do. We'll take into consideration your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Nobody else assigned individual? Okay. All right. So in presentations, we have one person with us tonight. That's Sheriff Kent Farley. And Kent, you want to come up and talk to us? I think he wants to talk to us about traffic lights.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that I've been a sheriff now in Lane County well over a year now, and I tried to get out of this year. I tried to get Steve to do it for me, and I think he'd like to see me get up here and shake a little bit. But anyway, we've been monitoring some of the schools here in the county, the school zones. I have me some notes, but I've lost them. I don't know where they're at, but I'm gonna try to remember what I wanted to say. The world that we live in today is, everybody's in the fast lane. I mean, it's warp 5. Believe me. If you don't believe me, just come over someday and we'll jump in the cruiser and we'll ride over on Route 10 and just set off our school zone when they're letting off or letting out, and just watch the people coming down Route 10. It's like I got to get from point A to point B, and I got to be there now. But anyway, we've been monitoring some of the school zones, and over at Guyan Valley, all we have is the sign that says 15 mile an hour when children are present. And I looked up present and see what the definition of present meant. It really means when you're visible to the eye. In other words, when they're in the school, speed limit through there would be what? Down through the 45. But I've had different people tell me different, but when I looked it up, if it went to court or something, though, that's what they would know, what the definition of present would be. It's meant present is invisible. But what I would like for the board to do is, over at Guyan Valley, we'd like to have some flashing lights, caution lights, like we have over at Duval. And I'll tell you why, my wife, she makes her living out on the road. She drives all day, going from house to house. And I asked her, I said, what is it about the people running through these school zones? And me and her discussed it, and she said, if there's just a sign there, it just don't register to us, and we're not going down the road looking for a sign, a little old sign, or a 12, 18 sign. We're not looking for that. She said, what we need to be knocked down with a set of flashing lights. And people believe me, over at Guyan Valley, we need them. For that main artery coming down through Route 10, coming out of Logan, going into Huntington, there's a lot of traffic. And another place that, there's 3 places that I would really be tickled with if we could get it, but I put Guyan Valley #1 priority, but Midway. They come off of Corridor G, it's like a 747 coming in there for a landing. It takes them a pretty good stretch to never get slowed down. I've watched them over there. And, I don't know what the law is on getting the lights. I was talking to Larry there a minute ago. I don't know what the law requires on the schools, but that's something that we could look into if there's a law that it says the school must be within so many feet of the road. I don't know. But that's 2 places that Guyan Valley being #1 and Midway over being #2. And one other place I would like, and this was brought to me from another guy that I had mentioned it to him, and he come right out of the blue and he said, I'll tell you where you need another set of flashing lights at, Sheriff. And he said, that's down there in West Hamlin Elementary School, down there on Derry Road. He said they make some pretty good time down through there, and that school there beside the road. But I think that we're going to have those caution lights to get their attention, the people's attention coming down the road. But they got on their mind getting home at a certain time, or maybe getting to the Walmart at a certain time. I don't know what it is, but believe me, they book through there. You've been over there. And they come through there, and we have stopped some, we've stopped some younger ones, we stopped grandma and grandpa and before, and they just, we just didn't know, we just weren't paying any attention. But I think if we can get us some caution lights up there, it will help them get their attention through that school zone. And right there at Guyan Valley, they're loading and unloading right there in that wide place. How easy it would be for the wind to blow a piece of paper out on the road. And a kid, it's not gonna run up there to the principal and say, I'm gonna run out there and get this piece of paper. It's gonna take off and go get it, right? It's so easy. And we don't need to wait till it happens and then say, oh, we should have done something. And I think strongly we need some caution lights are in Guyan Valley. And one other thing before I sit down. I wasn't gonna be long, I was gonna be like Elizabeth Taylor, like she told her 9 husbands. I'm not gonna keep you as long. But
That's something you can use, right?
I'm a preacher too. I'm a preacher too, now, you know, I get in behind these. But anyway,
I was wondering where we were.
Guyan Valley, Duval, and I'll shut up. Duval over there, we need to get them synchronized. The ones on the west end is shutting off before those on the,
That's right.
yeah, on the east end.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
They're not coming on the west end until minutes, several minutes
Right.
after they
Yeah.
lease.
Yeah, I was over on the radar one day, and I was up on the upper end, and they're still flashing. I looked, and I seen the truck coming up there, and he's doing 45 miles an hour. I said, well, who do you think he is? Don't he have no respect for the law? Don't he see me sitting there? And I went over, and he went in the post office, and I pulled in there, and I said, buddy, I said, don't you know the speed's 15 miles? Well, the light wasn't flashing. So I checked that out, and they wasn't flashing, but they was flashing on the other end. And we need to get those synchronized, where they come on at the same time and go off at the same time.
Well, now, has that been an issue all
I
along?
don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
This happened just recently.
Okay.
Yeah, and, but I think, I wanted to mention, Steve and I discussed it before too, that I'd like to see them flash all day long. But I don't know what the law is on that again, but Boone County over at Comfort, they flash all day. When school is in session, they're flashing. I don't care if the kids are inside or out, they're all flashing. Now, I haul coal through there and I know they flash all day long. But, you know, again, we don't need them to flash all day. If we can get some flash in the morning when the kids is getting off on the bus, going into the building, and when we get them flash in the evening, when they're coming out of the building, getting on the bus, oh, I tell you, I'll be tickled to death.
Yes, I have another question.
First,
You go ahead.
Sheriff, I know you monitored this because I've watched you.
Yeah.
From the post office. And we have a problem on Wednesday. People seem to think, you know, that it's, I don't know, 8:30 or something, and there's no, you know,
Mhm.
school's already in session, and you know how they just zoom right down there.
Right.
I've watched you stop them before. So that's a problem. I don't know how to solve it.
Because, you know, on Wednesdays, we start an hour.
Hour late,
Yeah,
you know.
that's what-
I've stopped them over already before and told them, said, now listen, on Wednesdays, but it starts an hour late.
Want the lights flashing?
Yeah, they're flashing, they just ignore them on Wednesday. Not everyone, but no.
I mean, so
So they're working properly.
They're working properly.
They just think that they're,
Okay.
They think, you know, it's too late for,
right.
students to be out. He stopped car after car after
And
car,
and explain to them that school starts an hour late.
but they're still doing it.
We'll monitor them some more. Man, jog the memory.
Again,
But-
am I not correct, when the flashing lights went in at Duval, before that, wasn't there a sign that said 15 mile an hour when students were present? They had to take that sign down and put up another sign?
Yeah,
What
oh,
does
yeah,
the sign
yes,
say
yeah.
now? Does anybody know?
When the flashing lights goes up, there'll be a sign there, 15 mile an hour when lights are flashing.
When the lights are flashing,
Yeah,
so what
that's
it
what will
says?
be there. And we got them in Harts Creek and, up there at this new school, middle school up there, and, they work great.
You know, they certainly are needed there in that curve area for
Well,
sure.
I thought there was lights out West Hamilton Elementary. It's never been?
There's not, there's just a sign there, signs.
But we you know, we've talked about this several times, the sheriff and I have, and we do appreciate the effort that you put forth, Ken. You know, we talked about this when school started, and the fact that you've gone out and monitored these sites, because I know we talked about Duval in particular, because you saw a problem there, but you've taken it upon yourself to go to other locations too, and we appreciate that on behalf of the kids. We thank you for that.
That's right. Future.
But what we're gonna have to do is just, look through it and see what our options are. I talked to Dana before. The cost of a set of lights is roughly $6,700.
I didn't know that until
That's what
you told me that.
That's what he told me. But, I mean, once again, that's just what it is. The cost of keeping kids safe is immeasurable, so that's a whole other thing. We just need to look and make sure that what we do, we can do. But I think if we could find out for sure, one thing, if Jeff's taking notes there, as to when the lights can be on. Oftentimes we learn things over the years and we assume them to be that way, and sometimes it's maybe not really that way, but it's always been my understanding that you couldn't flash them all day long. But if they
Might not be, but
Dana
Boone County
checks
does.
on that actually before those, when they're placed over there, and
Right.
they can, according to.
They can or
what's
cannot?
the web guy's name?
I
That's who Dana had spoken
Now,
to.
you said they can or
Cannot.
Cannot, that's what I mean.
Cannot flash all day?
We
That's
talked
what
to
we were
Dana
told.
yesterday.
So if we could just clarify that, maybe he's already got that information for us.
Check on it.
And then the other would be whether or not is it permissible for us to put lights at all of these locations if we chose to. Now, I've talked to Dana about Guy Valley in particular, and he doesn't think there's any problem with that. It meets all the criteria.
Right.
And I agree with you there. There's probably not a worse area for people to speed than Guy Valley. They're coming down Route 10 and, there's probably no worse.
A lot of people
place.
going
And I
home from work.
believe Dana's already inquired about this, and he's waiting on an answer regarding Midway.
Okay.
Aren't they, didn't he tell us yesterday that the Department of Transportation person is supposed to come out here?
Mr. Webb is coming, and they're gonna look at all schools.
Yeah, he's supposed to meet with me this week, but
Okay.
Of course, the weather might have changed some of the calendar.
I don't,
You brought your homework in.
yeah, I'm not just sitting around all day. I can't see any reason on earth why we couldn't put one at Midway. From what I can see from this map, the Department of Highways property abuts our property. And I think according to their regulations, and I have a letter here from Cindy Kramer saying that she thinks it's okay, but she's from the
What's her
Department of
title,
Highways.
Larry?
Her title, traffic, she's a director of the Traffic Engineering Division. That's about as high up as you can get. And here are the regulations. If somebody wants to make a copy of it. It seems clear from this. Yeah, there you go.
Here, let me thank you.
Can I have a copy of that? too?
Sure, well, thank you.
When they come off from four-lane, I agree with Larry, they need to need some caution lights over there to remind them, hey, look, the speed limit's not 65 anymore. They don't, well, I'll tell you when they slow down is when they come in behind another vehicle up there around in stores. Up there. That's when they get slowed down.
Well, that's what we'll just have to, if he's coming out of this, Mr. Webb, and you're planning on.
I was supposed to meet with him this week, but, he wants to be there when school's in session. Of course, that didn't happen this week.
Well, maybe we'll find out for certain, or get an idea whether if we were permitted to have him there. I know that the library owns that one little section, the property there, but I'm assuming that the Department of Highways would butt up against the board property in the other locations.
It does.
Is that correct?
But, of course, our property doesn't butt up against the highway property, just their property.
Right.
You understand?
Yes. But your interpretation of reading those regulations is that would meet the intent.
That's my interpretation. It's not necessarily theirs.
Right. Okay.
Is it, Department of Highway, do they take care of these lights as far as like Duval needs synchronized? Will they be the one that have to go
No,
out
no,
there?
no, we do that.
Or you guys do that?
Dana Smith is in charge of taking care of that. we'll, anything else about these, Gary, any comments or anything? Carol, do you have any comments about the lights that you'd like to share with us?
I totally agree with Mr. Farley. I've always feared getting stopped, even in the school zone, being a board member. But if you try to slow down to 15 in front of Guyan Valley, somebody's gonna run over top of you. They
Right.
fly through there.
Yeah, I think we all pretty agree that Guyan Valley is certainly definitely a definite need.
Didn't they have lights there previously?
Once upon a time, years ago.
Okay.
And then before they cleaned all that brush off the hill there, the vines, I think, wrapped around them, they were covered up, you couldn't see them, because of all the brush around them, so.
They just were not replaced.
Right, they just took the lights down and put the current sign up. I want to say thank you, for your concern for my school, from me as a principal and for our students, so.
I like what you said there a while ago when you was talking about your kids. You said my kids. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Anybody got any more questions or anything?
I don't think so. We'll look into this, Sheriff, and I think, we'll be able to do some of this. I don't know if we'll be able to do it all or not, but we'll look at it and give it our best shot. We'll talk after Mr. Webb comes out and meets with Mr. Wilkerson or Mr. Smith. We'll find out if there seems to be any prohibition with us having them and all that kind of thing too. But I think we're on the right track, and once again, thank you.
I thank you all for letting me come out here and speak. And
Before long, you're gonna be speaking in front of just thousands of people. I can see it coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
you're welcome.
Appreciate it.